ever just have one of those how did I get here moments, like dangling off a cliff or something? Or maybe face to face with like a really angry goose?
Yeah.
Okay, well now imagine that feeling, but you're in space, you're in a spacesuit outside a massive space station, and oh yeah, there's an alien on board that really wants to meet you.
Right.
That's Alien Isolation Mission 16. And that's what we're diving into today.
Definitely a bad day for Amanda Ripley.
Yeah, for sure. So we've got a stack of articles here, even a podcast.
Oh, wow.
All breaking down this mission.
Nice.
So to set the scene for anyone who hasn't breezed this part of the game, Amanda's outside Sevastopol station, which is like this giant city in space.
Huge.
And it's got a big alien problem.
Yeah, you could say that again.
And Amanda's just desperate to get in contact with anyone.
Anyone at all.
And this is where the game really gets you, because you're surrounded by stars and planets, this incredible view.
Beautiful.
But you're also totally vulnerable, stuck in this clunky suit with your oxygen ticking down.
It's that contrast that makes it so effective.
Right. You've got the awe of space, but then this intense claustrophobia too.
Exactly. And you're completely alone, exposed, makes the danger feel so much more real.
It's like they took everything scary about space and then just threw in a xenomorph for fun.
Just to up the stakes.
So you're scrambling to activate this antenna. Every second feels like an hour.
Oh, I bet.
And then contact.
Just failing.
You get Captain Verlaine on the Torrens. That's the ship that could be her only way out.
Right. Her ticket out of there.
And for a second, there's hope. Remember that feeling when you first make contact.
Oh, absolutely. Such a relief after all that tension being completely cut off.
Yeah.
Just that human contact.
But this is alien isolation.
Right. Can't be easy.
It never is. Just when you think things might actually go Amanda's way, she sees something truly awful.
And we're not talking about some space junk here. She sees the xenomorph
Up close and personal.
attacking these survivors.
Yeah.
And it's not just any encounter either. This one's personal. Remember Ricardo, the comm specialist.
Oh, man, Ricardo. He was there for so much of the game.
Yeah, and this is where we lose him. The game does not hold back on the xenomorph just being brutal.
Brutal.
And watching him go like that,
Oh.
it's rough. It's a punch to the gut.
Yeah.
You know? And it really shows how high the stakes are for Amanda, how fast things can change.
It's heartbreaking, but it also kind of lights a fire, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about escaping anymore. It's about survival honoring Ricardo. And that's where this mission gets even more intense. So you're Amanda. You've seen something terrifying, and now you're running through the station trying not to get caught.
It's a masterclass in suspense.
The sources all say that.
They're not wrong.
Yeah.
And it's not even just jump scares, though there are plenty of those.
Right.
It's the atmosphere, the sound design, the levels. Everything is designed to keep you on edge.
Yeah, those burning corridors.
Like every little sound is amplified.
Yeah.
You know, the creaking metal, the steam escaping, it makes you feel so vulnerable.
And then there's that sound, the motion tracker.
The worst.
I know it's bad news the second you hear it. Is there any other game that gets in your head like that?
It's such a good use of sound because you need it to know where the alien is. But every time it beeps, you're like, nope, not today.
It's both information and anxiety all in one little beep.
Totally. And the sources talk about how much more effective that is than other games where you see the monster all the time.
Yeah, when you don't know, it's so much worse.
The unknown is terrifying.
And the alien isn't predictable either. Like, it's not just following a script.
No, it feels like it's really hunting you.
That's what makes it so scary, even when you replay it.
Exactly. You're never sure what it's going to do next. Keeps you on your toes.
Totally. And it makes you think strategically, too, using the environment to your advantage.
Way more immersive than just shooting everything.
Right. It's like that classic horror movie thing, don't make a sound.
Except every footstep could be giving you away.
Let's talk about pressure. Anyway, so Amanda finally gets to the docking bay.
Giant spaceship garage, basically.
Exactly. And she's trying to reach the Torrens. But of course,
Oh, very easy.
there's always a catch. The sources mention this one elevator.
Oh no, what about it?
Let's just say it's not exactly a smooth ride.
How did I end up here feeling?
Big time. You're so close to escaping to safety. But then the game throws one less thing at you. It's like that final chase scene in a horror movie.
You know something bad is coming, but you have to keep going.
You have to. And that's what makes Mission 16 so good. It's that desperation, that will to survive.
It's really powerful. And one of the sources said it's not even just about surviving the alien encounters.
It's about Amanda and how resilient she is.
Her determination to get off that station.
Yeah.
Like, think about everything she's been through.
It's inspiring.
Totally. It shows her character. And remember, this is a woman who's still dealing with what happened to her mother on the Nostromo.
And we see that throughout the game.
But she keeps fighting. She faces her fears.
That's something we can all learn from, right?
Yeah. Even when things are impossible,
Yeah.
terrifying, we can find a way to keep going, even if we're not facing down aliens.
Most of us aren't.
True.
Yeah.
But the message is still there. We all face challenges, things that feel impossible. But Amanda shows us we can find that strength.
It's really incredible. So to wrap things up, Amanda's still fighting to survive, racing toward that escape ship, the Torrens.
Huge cliffhanger. Will she make it? Will she finally be safe?
Well, no spoilers.
Right.
Of course, we'll leave that for everyone to discover themselves, but the way it ends, it just leaves you wanting more.
Oh, yeah.
And luckily, we have more missions to explore, more deep dives to come.
The fun's not over yet.
It's not. But before we move on, I wanted to go back to these sources you found, because I was really interested in all the different angles they took.
Definitely. It wasn't just this happened, then this happened. It was really digging into what makes this mission so effective.
Right. Like one article we have really went into detail about that opening spacewalk.
Oh, yeah. Even though it's short, it sets up the whole feeling.
Exactly. You get that wow moment with the view of space.
It's beautiful.
And then bam! You're reminded you're stuck in this suit dependent on it for air.
Alone? Vulnerable? That's the brilliance of it.
For sure. And then, of course, just when you think you're safe, back to the nightmare of Sevastopol Station.
Can catch a break.
And speaking of not catching a break, we can't forget about Ricardo.
Yeah.
One of the podcasts had a whole thing about his death scene, how that hits the player emotionally.
Yeah, they said it was a turning point, not just for Amanda, but for the whole game. That's when the xenomorph becomes really real.
Totally. Before that, you're hiding, avoiding it. But when you see what happens to him, it changes things.
The stakes are higher. You know, anyone could be next.
Exactly. And that feeling stays with you through the whole mission.
That sense of being hunted.
The level design, the
And great.
sound, and of course that motion tracker, always there.
Just a masterpiece of suspense.
It really is.
Yeah.
And one article even interviewed one of the sound designers.
No way.
They talked about how they use sound to make you feel uneasy, like you're always being watched.
Which you are.
Right. It's like they reached into our brains and found out exactly what scares us.
They did a pretty good job of it.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listener to take away from all of this?
You know, I think it's that good games aren't just about the graphics or the action. It's about the experience. An Alien. Isolation Mission 16, it just nails it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So next time you're playing a game, really take a second to think about how it makes you feel.
Appreciate the art of it all.
Exactly. You might be surprised how much work goes into creating those feelings. Until next time, keep exploring.